Good morning, Elmanian. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Where's the coffee? I've got my coffee right here. Hello, Zhang. Zhang404. That means Zhang not found, huh? Little web dev reference there. Very nice, very nice. The coffee's here. I actually have to go back upstairs and get my water. I forgot to fill my water up. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go do that. All right. Okay. What's the time? It's 4:25 a.m. where I am. So I just woke up. Woke up 25 minutes ago. Hello, Blackfire. Good to see you. Good morning, sweetheart. Good to see you. Familiar faces in the chat. Always a good time. All right. Where are we starting today? So today's a new chapter. The rustacean in me has been left behind for greener pastures. And today I'm going to do a little bit of thinking, a little bit of coding. Start working on the next thing, the next project. So the thing I want to build is basically to replace, let's see, I think I'm going to call it physical.
I'd like to say something. Thinking is hard.
Thinking is hard. Okay, I think this is this is the current name that I think I'm going to go with. And let's see, the goal is to replace YNAB as my personal finance management software. And to start with, let's see. The first things I need to do, or I guess features that I want, is I want to be able to connect all my bank accounts, to the app. What else? I'm going to do these in separate text blocks so I can move them around. Excuse me. These are the features. What else? So I want to be able to connect my bank accounts. I want to be able to see the balances in each account. I want this balance to update regularly, and I want to be able to force them to update on demand. Separate those. Those are two different features. I want this. I want the balances to update regularly. Oops. I want the balances to be able to be refreshed on demand. What else? These are like the core features. And then, let's see. I want to be able to use the account balances to derive a net worth calculation showing assets versus liabilities. Okay. Make an MD file instead. No, I kind of like Excalidraw. Sometimes I'll copy and paste this stuff over, but I like Excalidraw because I kind of like to be able to move things around visually. Helps me think. But for your project, use Markdown files. Use whatever thing you want to do. What about a money time graph so you can see your money over time? That's a good idea. Yeah. Let's do. I think that goes into the net worth part, right? Like, I want to be able to see the. I want to be able to see how my net worth changes over time. And I want to be able to see. So basically, I think what this would end up being is like taking snapshots, maybe like on a daily basis, of what the account balances were. I want to be able to see how my account balances changed over time. Okay. So that kind of all falls under kind of like net worth scope type thing. And then the other thing I want my app to be able to do is I want my app to be able to pull in transaction data. So I want to be able to see all the different transactions that a particular account has made. And then I want to be able to categorize them. I want to be able to categorize the type of each transaction. which also means I also want to be able to define categories, right? That kind of goes hand in hand. I want to be able to define different categories for transactions. I mean, that's really this is like the super basic functionality that I use in YNAB, and it's the only thing I used really in Mint, right? I just want to see a list of everything I've bought, received, right? Money in, money out. I want to be able to slap a label on them, and I want to have one place where I can go and see where all my money's is, right? Okay, that's a pretty good start, I think. And then now there's some other stuff we need to do, like we need to implement login, we need to implement sign in, or I guess we need to implement just login, forgot password. Let's see, is there any other flows we don't really need a register flow because it's only going to be an app for myself, really, at least to begin with. I think that's it. Okay. So I'm gonna call these like I don't know, like core features. I think I'll call these like housekeeping or something. Housekeeping. Good morning, Rampla. Good to see you. Good morning, Oblivion. Good morning, Sean Dev. Let's see. We are off Rust, David. Good morning, David. Early one today. Yeah. Well, every stream of mine is early. Mikias, what kind of PC do you recommend? I'm not super opinionated on the PC. The only thing I usually say on PCs is like, I'm never gonna buy a computer that doesn't have at least 16 gigabytes of RAM. You know. Let's see. So early, 6 hours of sleep? No, probably like 8. Like I usually go. I mean, somewhere between 6 and 8. I usually go to bed at somewhere between 8 and 10, and then wake up at 4 o'clock. So yeah, somewhere between 6 and 8, somewhere in there. That's been pretty standard for me for a long time. See, Sean, I already said hi to you. See, Danny, what are we planning? Danny, I'm planning a personal finance app. That's what I'm trying to build. I'm trying to build something to replace You Need a Budget, which is the current app that I use. Blackfire, make everything graphable. Yeah, I think I do want some sort of visualizations in there at some point. I don't really know what that'll look like, but at some point I think I'd like to have some sort of tool to visualize stuff. Or at least, at the very least, start with some sort of tool that allow me to like export or import data if I'd like to. But yeah, I just want something. I just want something that facilitates getting the transactions from my bank account more than anything. Good morning, Raphael. Good morning, Inspire. Good to see you. Pitch Black, what's the minimum GPU specs? I don't really worry too much about GPU. I don't do I don't host LLMs locally. I don't run local models. I don't do crazy PC gaming. I'm basically a console gamer only. So I don't really have any minimum GPU specs. I usually just try to find something with a decent processor, good amount of storage, like 2 terabytes SSD, and at least 16 gigs of RAM, you know? If I can find it like around $1,000, probably pretty happy. How's it going, big bro? It's going good, yeah. No complaints, man. Noku roaring. I was like, what are you saying? Nah, I get it. Good morning, Noku. Good to see you. Nice. Is it a web app? I think it will start as a web app, Danny. I'm gonna basically start by building the. I think, or my plan right now is to start with building a central API, to interact with. Just a kind of a basic JSON returning API, and then I'll start with a web client. But I would love to have, I'd love to have a mobile client, right? Like it would really be really nice to have a real native mobile app for it. And then I think it would also be cool to have a desktop app. So I think I'll start with just a API that I can host on the server, and then start to build up some clients around it over time. So we'll see. We'll see how far that goes. But at the very least, it will be a web app for sure. Blackfire RAM's expensive nowadays. It really is. It's kind of unbelievable. Inspire, we done with the editor? Not done with it, just kind of not making it the primary thing that I'm working on. Like I worked on it a little bit yesterday. I'll continue to hack on it. I'll continue to work on the Notepad app until I get it to a point um where it's publishable. You know what I mean? Like where people can install it if they want to use it. That's where I'd like to get the editor to. Mikias, do you host your websites on your build? I do. I think by on your build you mean like on my own. I guess not. It's not really my own hardware. Or I guess in some cases it is. So typically I host my projects in one of two places. I either host them on the web server I have here in the house, which is like an old Dell Optiplex, or I host them in a VPS that's hosted in Oracle's cloud. Those are the two places primarily. I have some stuff. I do have some stuff hosted in like Vercel. I have a couple Next.js sites in Vercel, and I have one or two sites that are hosted on Azure App Service Plans. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. So I've got kind of a mishmash, but like my current approach today is to always try to self-host things because I'm always scared of running up like a really large cloud bill on other people's infra. That always scares me. So I try to just self-host things. And everything I build is not like, none of my projects are like getting a lot of traffic, right? So it's really not like a scary thing to self-host any of that stuff. Good morning, Crow Demise. Good to see you. Blackfire. Oh my gosh, Dell Optiplexes make such good servers. I don't know if they make good servers, but a friend of mine, a family friend of mine, he had gotten this Dell Optiplex off Facebook Marketplace and was like, hey, and I had told him that I was wanting to do some self-hosting and have a little home lab and whatnot. And he was like, hey, let me throw some RAM in this thing and a little bit of storage, and you can take, add it, this can be your start. And so that's where it originated from, and I just kind of kept using it for stuff. Like I said, I don't need to scale to like hundreds of thousands of users, right? I get like maybe 10 users, maybe one user. So the load on any of the things that I build is not very high. I think that's the case for the vast majority of software that's ever built. Like very few people need to build an app that can handle hundreds of thousands or millions of concurrent users. We all like to talk about building these things because it's fun to theoretically talk about it, but very few of us actually have that actual business requirement or need. Can we see the Optiplex? Oh, it's up in my. Yeah, I mean, I can show it to you in a video or something. It's up in my kitchen. Um, it actually sits right next to my Wi-Fi router because it's just easier to get it connected that way. Both my NAS and I have a NAS up there, and I have the Optiplex. They both sit right next to each other. They sit right next to my espresso machine. People probably think it's funny that I have computers sitting in my kitchen, but that just happened to be where the Wi-Fi router was, and I didn't feel like running another cable. Sorry, I was getting my oranges situated here. Maybe one day I'll have a nice fancy web server, something with a rack and everything. Proper home lab. Blackfire, if you don't mind me asking, how much does it cost to have your own domain? Let's see. I can tell you straight up how much it was. I use a couple different so I use Cloudflare for doing all my DNS stuff, and then I use a company called it's not the best company, but it's a company called Ionos. They used to be called 1-in-1 back in the day when I originally bought my domain from them. Like I bought this domain. Oh my goodness, it's older than my children. So it's like decade and a half, almost. Let's see, I'm 32, so this would have been. I think I would have been 18 when I bought the domain. So we're talking 14 years old or something like that. And I think I spend like $20 on it. I'm gonna look at my invoice real quick. It's not terribly expensive. I mean, it is $20 or whatever a year, whatever it is to renew it every year. You know, um, this is not the right login. So I use that. So I use Ionos for one of the domains, and then the other domains I have registered through a company called Porkbun, which is probably who I would recommend using now, honestly. Like they're relatively cheap. Their UI is pretty good. Like their admin console is pretty handy. I think Cloudflare sells domains too, but they always seem to be a little bit more expensive. Sorry, I have to use my MFA thing to log in. That's the other thing I'm going to have to implement in my app, I think, is I'm going to have to implement MFA, or I should probably have MFA in my app since it's going to have. I mean, I guess it's going to have kind of what you would consider sensitive data. Financial transactions. I don't know how much of my actual financial account information will be stored in my app, but definitely the transactions will be. Let's see. Where's my account? My invoices. Go to invoice. Yeah, it looks like $15 is what I spend on the domain on StephenFreeborn.com. That's what I spend on the domain. And then I pretty much just subdomain everything. Like all my projects are just hosted out of subdomain, which makes it very easy. And I have a couple additional, like I think I pay $20 a month for freeborn.cloud, or not $20 a month, sorry, $20 a year. And then I have a couple other ancillary days. So maybe total in a year I might spend $80, maybe $100 on domains in a year, something like that. Not crazy expensive. Inspire. I'm alert. Gonna have a quit nap. Nice. Good deal. Second, recommend Porkbun. Easy to config. Great support. Yeah, I think Porkbun is really good. I think it was Derek Sivers. I don't know if you guys have heard of Derek Sivers. Derek Sivers has this website about technological independence or tech independence. It's not really a website. It's like a single web page. But I'm pretty sure this is where I found, this is where I got turned on to Porkbun, was this document. I had never heard of Porkbun before until I read this web page. But yeah, that's who I would use now if I was somebody trying to get a domain for the first time. Good morning, Abdul. Good to see you. Dude, that'd be awesome. I'd see a YouTube short on it. Oh yeah, for sure. I can make a small little video, small clip. I mean, it's really nothing to write home about. It's just a big black box, but yeah, happy to show it off. Bro actually cooks in the kitchen. I try to use the kitchen for what it's meant to be used for hosting your personal servers and for cooking dinner, you know. Oranges are so good. Yeah, oranges are my favorite fruit for sure, by far. Good time zones, everyone. That's the way we greet people on the internet now. Since we don't know what time you're at, we just say good time zones. I like it. Good morning, Abdil. All right, so housekeeping things that we have to deal with is we obviously have to deal with login. We have to deal with forgot password. We have to deal with probably some sort of email verification. Let's see, email verification, forgot password. What else? I think that's it. Since I'm going to be the person adding the users, probably just through directly in the database. I don't really need.
Did we just become best friends?
Thanks for the follow, Crypt7 for the win. Maddie, good morning. Good morning. Planning a new project. Yeah, we're gonna build a personal finance app. See, that's all I can think of at the moment for like the identity part of this. And then what other things? So we got our housekeeping items. Got some features we want to implement. I guess we do need to figure out kind of what technologies we're going to use. I think, let's see. I think to start with, we're going to do something like, let's see, we're going to use C#. We're going to run it .NET. We're going to start with just a single web API. We are going to use, I think we're going to use Plaid as the company or the service, to retrieve the financial information. They have a pay as you go, and I think I already set up an account. I don't even think I think I have a developer account already with these guys. Let's see, login. Yeah, it looks like I have an account. What you doing? Hey, Ulas, good to see you. I am working on getting started on building a personal finance app for being able to kind of manage my own finances, but in an application that's kind of tailored to my needs. Right now, I spend $15 a month on this tool called YNAB, and it's a really great tool. I mean, it is a really great piece of software, but it's got way more bells and whistles than I really need. And so I want to take a run at trying to replace it with something of my own creation. And so we'll see how that goes. This could end in utter despair, but you never know if you don't try. So I'm gonna try. Yeah, it looks like I have an account. Okay, which is nice. Let's see. It says action required. Plaid is requesting additional details to support Section 1033 compliance. I guess I have to update. Let's see. I have to upload an icon? That's funny. Whoops, nope, that's not what I was trying to do. So I'm doing this off screen because I don't know what in this dashboard I shouldn't be showing to people because I've never used the dashboard before. Okay, I guess I have to create a icon. Yeah, a lot of apps give you fluff and random stuff. Yeah, it's just like YNAB feels like Visual Studio, and what I need is like VS Code or NeoVim, right? That's basically the equivalent. It's just there's too much there for me. I don't need double entry accounting. I don't like I just it's more what I just need to be able to basically keep like a spreadsheet of my transactions. The problem is like in my account balances. The problem is that I don't want to have to manually go and collect all the account balances and the transactions from the myriad of accounts we have. I want a service that will, fetch those for me. So why not then actually build an actual application? And so that's kind of where I'm at. So we'll see how this goes. It's my first time building something like this, so uh, we'll see. Apparently, I have to create a logo though, real quick. 1024 by 1024. So I'll just upload an existing image. Just upload that guy. Talk about an awesome piece of software. Canva, this is an awesome piece of software. So easy to use and super powerful. Crazy. Okay, so try again here. Desktop. Cloud logo. Open. There we go. Save. Password. It might be good. The first thing we might want to do, like the first like exercise here is that before we implement anything in the application is we might want to explore like how to use the Plaid API just generally because I've never done that before. That might actually be like the first thing to go and try to figure out. How would you be able to make an app that counts the crimes in the 3 million EPS files? What? Count the crimes in what files? Oh, the Epstein files. Oh, I have no idea. You'd probably have to use some sort of AI technology, right? You'd probably want because if it's all in text data, right? You're probably going to need some sort of like some sort of tool that can semantically understand the text, maybe? Or maybe you could do it more in a procedural way, like by parsing the text and looking for keywords or something. I'm not really sure how you would do that. Identifying crimes from files. Yeah, I don't know how you do that. I'm sure some smart person could figure it out. But I'm not a smart person. Let's see, what was I trying to do? Oh. Playwright, use cookies, and personal auth would be how I'd look at doing it. Not sure it'd be streamable though. For the thing that Rampla asked about, yeah, I don't know why you'd use Playwright though. That seems a little weird. I think that app would go viral. Build it, you know? Build it. Okay. That's good. Account verification. I'm okay. I'm there. Okay, so now let's go to the developer section. Docs. What's up with all these companies not having a dark mode? Stripe doesn't have a dark mode. Let's see, retrieve a bank account information for ACH, wire, and other bank transfers. Balance. I don't need payments, but I do want transactions. Yeah, this is going to be quite a learning curve, I think, figuring out how to work with this service. Okay, so we have C#, .NET, Web API, Plaid, and I think that's really it to get started with, because the backend, the backend is going to take care of all the interaction of like getting the account information, getting the, you know what I mean? The clients are just going to call for it and visually display it. That's all the clients are going to do. Should we start, I guess, with maybe some of their starter code? That might be a good place to start. Although they really do need a dark mode. But they don't have a dark mode, so we're just going to have to be blinded. Reprogram your life? What? LOL, I wish I can program my stopwatch. Oh, oh, because I said build it? Oh. Well, you could hire somebody. Identifying crimes from black pixels is a little rough, not gonna lie. Yeah, I believe that. Oh, because it's all heavily redacted. I guess I haven't gone and looked at the files myself. Heavily redacted, huh? Okay. Yeah, I don't know how I would do that. Don't know how I would do that at all. Duckboy, my eyes. I know, man. This is gonna be tough. I'm really not sure how to put that on screen without blasting everybody in the face. Okay. Yeah, let's see if they have any .NET quick starts here. Let's see, introduction. You'll need API keys. Setting up a Docker. It looks like this is all using npm. Yeah, they don't have any C# quick starts. See sample apps. Oh, they do have, I don't know if you guys, this is kind of interesting. They do have sample applications we can start looking at. So they have a personal finance application, usage of transactions, assets, liability API using Node and React. This actually might be a good reference to have locally to see how they've done things. Let's see. This is an example of an end-to-end Plaid applications to create items and fetch transaction data. Well, that's cool. Okay. Let's see, Plaid pattern. This is a sample personal finance manager application demonstrating an end-to-end Plaid integration focused on linking items and fetching transaction data. You can view a simplified version of this demo app at pattern.plaid.com. Oh, I guess they stopped. I guess they stopped supporting that app. Let's see. You may also be in the paid transactions tutorial, Plaid transactions tutorial sample app. Here you are, demonstrates the Plaid transactions API. Account funding demonstrates Plaid auth, balance, and identity APIs. Okay, so that sounds like the two things I'm interested in. I'm interested in transactions, and I'm interested in balance. I'm gonna star this too. All right, okay, we're just gonna go ahead and. I think it makes the most sense to just try to do this in the context of my app, and we'll just stumble through. We'll just stumble through the learning, you know. Let's see. Go to repositories. Dark Reader is my fave. Oh, you guys are talking about plugins to flip it to light dark mode. Use an extension. Okay, we could do that. So you said, what did you say your favorite is? Dark Reader? Plaid. Sorry. Catching up. Dark Reader, huh? Dark Reader. Okay, I installed that. And then I'm guessing somewhere here, maybe? That's my dashboard. Oh yeah, that worked pretty good. At least it worked on the dashboard. Plaid docs. Yeah, there you go. That's better. I mean, it's not, some of the pictures are kind of weird, but it definitely doesn't blow out our eyeballs anymore, so that's a win. Abdil, horizontal only on Twitch now, not even in members only. No, I took down the members only version on YouTube because the viewership was just so small, and I was wasting bandwidth and local compute resources to send a stream up to YouTube that like nobody watched. It's like, this is a waste. So right now my thing is just I send one to YouTube that's vertical, I send another to Twitch, and then people can pick where they want to be based on platform or format. Hold on. My eyes. My eyes. I just read Duck Boy's comment again. It made me laugh. Quickly getting something to eat. Yeah, no worries, dude. Let's see. What is the cheapest way to host a .NET Server app? VPS. The cheapest way to host a .NET Server app is probably through Azure's App Service Plan. It's completely free. It's very easy to set up. The only downside is the free tier that Azure offers you is kind of like Vercel's free tier where it has cold starts. So you basically, after like an hour, I think, or something, the app sort of spins down. And then it's slow to boot up again. So that's one of the reasons why I think self-hosting is super nice, is because you don't have to deal with all of that, right? And maybe it makes sense to move your app off of a self-hosted situation if your app becomes like popular or you have a lot of users or something. But yeah, if you don't want to pay for a virtual private server, which you're always going to have to pay unless you host your own, Azure's App Service Plan might be the cheapest way, cheapest and easiest way to get a .NET app that needs a backend up and running. Mikias, what do you do for a living? I work as a quality engineer. So if you type LinkedIn in the chat, you can actually find me on LinkedIn. You can look at my professional history all you want. You're welcome to send me a connection over there. But I work as a quality engineer, which basically just means I spend my days doing automated and manual testing for a piece of software that my company makes. So I was catching up a little bit on the chat here. Not sure if that makes sense. Many phones have the same sensors. Yeah. I would go into some of them, but not gonna lie, it can totally count as info hazard. Yeah, that's a really good thought. Some things are just better left uninformed about. Let's see. I like horizontal better, but vertical is better on YouTube for discovery and doom scrolling. Yeah, Voltaire's Puppet. I mean, you said the quiet part out loud. The reason why I stream vertically on YouTube is because of discoverability. Like my channel, I would not have anybody here chatting with me if I hadn't started streaming vertically on YouTube. So that's why I keep up with it. See, I like Hetzner a lot. For $4 per month, you can get 1 or 2 cores and a few gigs of RAM and terabytes of network traffic. So I have a Hetzner account. I've never actually ended up using their cloud, but I think if I really wanted to get another VPS stood up, that's probably who I would use. Yeah, I agree with that. Guess I'll have to go to Twitch and make my peace with the ads. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Do you use AI tools a lot in your work? I did. Well, I still do. I mean, I use AI every day. Um, and there for about 2 years, I've been a very heavy consumer of Copilot, particularly using Copilot in my editor to facilitate like tab completion, right? So kind of like IntelliSense on steroids type of thing. I've never been a big user of like the agentic tools, like using Gemini or Copilot or Claude Code in the terminal. I've tried it. I've tried both Gemini in the terminal and Copilot in the terminal, the CLIs that those companies have built. And I feel so disconnected from the process that I end up getting bored and wanting to go lift weights and not continuing to program. So I haven't been using them very much. And then like a couple weeks ago, I sort of had a crisis. Not a crisis. Crisis is too strong a word. I keep saying that. I just kind of started developing a lot of anxiety about whenever I use AI a lot and I stop using AI, everything feels like it's so much harder for me to do, Bimba. And so I largely have stopped using AI in my editors to author code, but I still use AI all the time. Like yesterday, I used AI to ask Git for help for figuring out something in Rust. If I don't know how to do something, I'll talk to AI. I just do it. I just have kind of regulated it to the chat interface. That's kind of how I've decided I'm going to utilize it and interact with it for the time being. And that decision is very personal. It's not a reflection on whether you should use it or how you should use it or if your job's demanding that you use it. Like, I get it. The world is the way the world is. AI is here. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of pressure. Um, and so I hope that none of you take that as a reflection that I think because you use AI, you're doing something wrong, or you like to do agentic development. I think that you're making the wrong decision. That's not what I'm doing. Like, my decisions are not a commentary on your life or your decisions. It's just trying to act in accordance with whatever my personal feelings are, right, about it. And my personal feelings are I'm not sure the type of engineer I want to be is accomplished through using AI, right? I don't know if Stephen Taub got to be Stephen Taub through using LLMs to write code. And I don't know if David Fowler became the engineer he has become through using LLMs, right? So that's where I'm at. And I've had tons of people argue with me about that. I've had tons of people tell me, well, the world changes, abstractions, increase things, and I get that, totally get that. But I'm just trying to make a decision that I feel good about. That's all. So yeah, that's my AI spiel, my AI tools, how I use them in my work. I use them. I just kind of use them, try to use them in a very intentional way. DigitalOcean has been really good for me. Nice. Okay. Little droplets. Yeah. Yeah. Can't go wrong there. Let's see. What makes them special is they install their own hardware, maintain it. They don't rent and wrap AWS like 80% of other hosting providers. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that about Hetzner. Very cool. For under $100 per month, you can even get bare metal. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I don't have needs for any big beefy machines at the moment, but maybe one day if I'm able to figure out how to make some money from building software, maybe I'll have need for some dedicated bare metal. Some beefy $100 machine or something. All right. I guess let's get going. I don't know. Is physical OS a good name? It's either between that or MyMint. One of the. I'm just gonna do physical. That's fine. You can always change it. Voltaire, I have defected to the dark side Twitch. Do it, man. I have no allegiances. My only opinions really on the two platforms is I think YouTube is much better for people who want to actually grow their channel. Twitch seems to have really no discoverability component to it. I'm not really sure how you grow a channel over there. Feels like in order to grow a channel on Twitch, you have to actually go grow a following somewhere else and drive them back to Twitch, which kind of sucks. But I do think Twitch is better for a viewer experience. Like, they have all those cool rewards and power ups and all these different ways to try to encourage engagement. So I think probably Twitch is better for like long-term community, but for actually getting that community, it seems like YouTube is the way to go. I pay for YouTube Red, so no adverts. Oh, nice. Very cool. All right, so where to start? I guess let's just do the normal new project stuff. So new item, we'll do like README. Let's do license generator. So call this like that. I guess we'll make a directory. See, README, license. What else? We could do .NET new git ignore. kind of feel like I never know what's a good. Never know what's a good. Let's see. No, I think I do want. I want the solution. I think. Hey, Voltaire, thanks for gifting a sub, man. I forgot to set up the Twitch alerts for gifting a sub. That's my bad. I need to set those up. Thank you very much, man. That's super kind of you. Done with Rust? Yeah, for the time being, at least on stream. For the time being, I'm going to go back to working, or for the time being, I'm going to go back to working on some projects, actually building some stuff that makes my life better, or will hopefully make my life better. So I don't think I'm not done with Rust. I'm just not doing a ton of it on stream, right? If you follow my GitHub, you'll probably still see me like tinkering around with it and trying to get better at it, but it probably just won't be on stream as much. Pyro Boots, hello Pyro Boots, good to see you. Duckboy, huh? Hetzner has some server operations near me, but only the dedicated option. Dedicated is expensive. Dedicated is very expensive. That's always the most expensive option. I feel the ad pain. Oh man, I'm sorry. Yeah, Twitch hits you with the ads. That's what it's about over there. That's what life's about. So we have this guy. Okay, yep. So we're just gonna do it. We're just gonna do it all here like we normally would in the root. So let's do .NET new git ignore .NET new editor config. We'll do .NET SLN or .NET new SLN. We'll call this physical S. Cool. And then we'll make a directory called source. And we'll make a directory called tests. I think that's it. And then we need to start putting our projects in there. So I don't know, does Plaid have a SDK, a C# SDK? Let's see. Plaid C# SDK libraries. Looks like they do not. Oh, here's one. .NET going.plaid. What is going.plaid? Going.plaid is a library for interacting with Plaid's banking API. See their documentation here. It is supported for Net Standard 2.0, Core, and Net 5 Plus. Where can I get it? It's available on NuGet. You can make calls to Plaid's API via the Going Plaid client class. Retrieving a user's recent transactions. You may provide secret and client ID to the constructor. This will allow you to save a single Plaid client in the DI system without tracking secret and client ID separately. Plaid client is comfortable being used as a single instance class in this manner. Okay. There are several converters that going.plaid uses to serialize and deserialize data to the Plaid service. These converters are automatically used internally for all API calls. However, if you need to do any serialization or deserialization of your own, for example, if you wish to pass going.plaid.link.onSys metadata, then you may need to add these converters to the ASP.NET serializer. I mean, it seems like this is still under active development too. I mean, they just cut a release 4 days ago, so I think I'm just going to use this. All right. Yeah, I think I'm just going to use this. I'm also vibing to ads right now. It's always Red Bull. Kurtz, I just got in. What is the new project that you'll work on? So we're going to work on it's like basically like a personal finance app. So this is kind of the list of features that we're looking at. So I want to be able to connect all my bank accounts to the app. I want to be able to see balances in each account. I want my balances to update regularly. I want to be able to see how my account balances and net worth change over time. I want to be able to collect all the transactions from my accounts. I want to be able to categorize those accounts. Um, the 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 real value add though is being able to get the account and transaction data from the source. That's the real value add of the app though, because all of this could be done in a spreadsheet. The part that can't really be done in a spreadsheet very well is fetching the data, right? Um, and so that's the piece that I want to take care of with this app. I currently use a tool. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. I currently use a tool called YNAB, which stands for You Need a Budget. This is what I currently use, and it's just more than I need, and I pay $15 a month, and I think I could probably get away with building something to replace it. So that's what I'm working on. This is one of my like 2026 goals for the year, was to build something like this. So that's what we're gonna do. Also, thanks for being here. I realize viewership is gonna turn over, so I'm happy to explain if you have questions. But if Steven is affiliate, I don't mind giving some ad revenue. Well, that's very kind of you. Yeah, I do think I'm an affiliate now on Twitch, so I do think I get some. I haven't seen a payment from Twitch, but I think I do get something from Twitch for the ads. What's Plaid? I thought it was like Rust. I mean Stripe. Yeah, Plaid is kind of like Stripe, but I think what it does that Stripe doesn't do is it allows you to get your bank account information. I don't think Stripe supports that. Good morning, all. Good morning, Derek. Good to see you. All right, so let's go ahead and create our test project. So we'll do .NET new XUnit 3 tests, and this is going to be physical OS .api .test, I think is what we'll start with. And then we'll say sln, or sorry, .NET, sln add.
Did we just become best friends?
MD Fury, thanks for the follow over there on Twitch. Appreciate you, sir. Or ma'am. I guess I don't really know your gender, so sorry if I misgender you. Okay, and then let's also set up centralized package management. So let's do new item, and then let's go into source, new item, back up, go into tests. So those are our build props, and then we'll also do new item directory.packages.props, like this. Do the same thing over here. Excuse me. All right, so we have a little bit of work to do here. So I'm just going to go to my GitHub because I've set this up like a dozen times before. What I need to do is I need to create a template for this. Like I need to create like a .NET starter template or something that I can just reuse. Let's see, I think I have it set up in Steve's bot. Yeah. So let's get the list. These are shared properties that we want to be in all our applications. Just enables some good warnings for us, some good analyzers. And then in the build props, this isn't going to be fluent assertions. This is going to be awesome assertions. We don't have that installed yet. This is also in the wrong file. We want it over here. You don't know. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. And then over here, we want something different.
Congratulations on mastering Rust.
Oh,
Thanks for letting me pressure you into going on that adventure. Get an expensive coffee with this. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. That actually might be what I need to hook up to the alerts there, Bob. First of all, that's wholly and totally unnecessary, but thank you very much. That's very kind of you. And yes, the Rust adventure was fun. I feel like I'm better for having done it, and I do plan on continuing to pursue being a better Rustacean. 100% I do. It was a lot of fun. It was a good way to spend the start of the year for sure. You last bro, did you get API key from Plaid? I haven't gotten it yet. I think I have one, but I haven't done anything with it. Bloodman, are you using custom config for NeoVim? Yes, I do have custom configuration for NeoVim, which you can find if you do !NeoVim or invim in the chat. Either one of those, my bot will post back with a link to my configurations. Nice. I also applied for it. Very cool. Yeah, you have to go through like a setup thing. You have to basically like I guess fill out a form. I did this like a year ago almost now, and I've just never actually used their services. But I think you have to go through a little bit of a process to explain like what you're gonna do with your access, which makes sense, right? It's financial information, right? I'm sure they have all kinds of like know your customer regulations they have to apply for, or not apply for, prove they're in compliance of. So I'm guessing that's where all the questions come from. Bob outdid me, and I'm happy with that. Well, I don't want you guys. You guys don't need to outdo each other, um, and you guys also don't need to send me money. But if you want to support the channel or support the content that way, I really do appreciate it. But I never expect it. You know what I mean? I never want you guys to think that's the expectation. All right, and then I want to enable centralized package management. So we'll go over here, and we're gonna do directory. I don't really know what I need over there yet. here, over here. Okay, so we have our tests. We can go into this project. We can extract some of this stuff. We don't need that there. We don't need that there. We don't need this. I don't think we need this because we're going to use the new testing framework or testing platform. I don't think we need this. Yeah, I think we can remove that. This can go away too as well. We'll include this. This can go. This can become a item group. So this is not going to be a reference. This is what we call a package version. And then package references go over here, but they get the version removed. That. And then packages, build. We don't have awesome assertions set up yet. We need to. There's nothing to do here. There's nothing to do here. Okay, so then let's open a new terminal window and let's set up our dependencies. Bob, no, gonna build this YNAB as a TUI? No, we're gonna build it as a proper web app, I think, or we're gonna start with a web app. I'm basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by building out an API that sort of acts as like the centralized backend, and then I'm gonna start with creating a web client for it, and then we could theoretically, if we have a centralized backend, we could make whatever clients we want. So we could have a TUI, we could have a CLI, we could have a web app, a native app, a desktop. You know what I mean? Like if we have it all centralized and we just have a place where we just request JSON data, we could theoretically build whatever we wanted around it. Really, I'm going to start with a web app though. That's just because that will allow me to access it in the most places right now. That's the plan. Hey, have you tried Code Crafters Challenge? I haven't. Oh, actually, I take that back. I started one. I started the Git one. Right? Code Crafters is the thing that kind of has you rebuild an existing piece of technology. Ruzul, I think that's how you say your name. But you have to like reverse engineer it yourself. They don't really like hold your hand. I started the Git one, but I haven't completed any of their challenges. What about you? Have you tried any of them? Let's see, .NET add tests. So we're going to add awesome assertions. And then we also need to add which NeoVim theme you're using and are you using Copilot. So I do have Copilot wired up, but I have it currently turned off in my editor at the moment. I haven't been using it very much in my editor, but I have it wired up in there if I want to use it. The NeoVim theme I'm using is called, let's see.
Voltaire's puppet is reminding you to hydrate.
Thank you for the reminder, man. Gotta open it first. It's called GitHub Dark Dimmed. This is the one I'm using. GitHub Dark Dimmed. That's what I pretty much use everywhere. I use that in Visual Studio. I use that in Writer. I use that in VS Code. I'm making a Discord bot and I have no clue what commands to give it. Yeah, Discord bots are cool. I mean, once you get the kind of the initial thing built out, you can pretty much have it do whatever you want, you know? You can basically, the cool thing about Discord bots is you can basically use Discord as your GUI, right? So it's like you can pretty much treat your Discord bot like a personal backend to do whatever you want and just interact with it through the Discord apps, which is really, really cool. Maddie, do you also do C# coding in Vim at work? No, typically at work I use, well, if I'm doing stuff with Playwright and TypeScript, I will usually bounce back and forth between VS Code and NeoVim. If I'm doing, if I'm working like in our company's like proper .NET solution, then I use Visual Studio. It's just, you know, it's an older .NET solution. It's got a mixture of different projects and frameworks and target frameworks. So Visual Studio is really the best tool for the job. Or that or Writer. You could use Writer probably and get a good experience too. Gunheisen, and am I seeing right? Will this stream have C# finally? This stream is going to be promoting C# usage again, Gunheisen. Yes, it is. Let's see, Blackfire. Yeah, I still don't know what I want to do with it. Yeah, it's tough. One of the things I want to do with my Discord bot is I want to hook it up to an LLM so it can actually like talk, right? So like if you add it in a conversation or direct message it, I want it to be able to respond. I've not done that yet, but I'd like to do it. I've been building Discord bots all the time. They're so nice. Yeah, there was a guy that was hanging out in our Discord who said that was kind of like all he did was build Discord bots, which was kind of cool to hear. Like he would build Discord bots for other people, apparently. I'm not sure how much money you can make doing that, but sounds like a cool gig. Maddie, okay, thought so. Yeah, for sure. Why bounce back and forth for Playwright? Oh, purely just vibes, Bob. Yeah, just vibes. Like some days for whatever reason, I'll open Visual Studio or Code, and then for whatever other reasons, I'll open NeoVim. It just varies. It's vibes based. Blackfire, I'm broke, so too many tokens. Yeah, my thought was that I could hook the bot up to like the free tier of Gemini and then just restrict the output tokens, right? Like set the output tokens real low. I don't know, something like that. I've been getting commissions for Discord bots almost on a monthly basis. Oh, that's kick ass. Let's go. Okay, well, I guess there's money in it. Good morning, Ryan. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Ronnie, will you please guide me? I can make backend in JS, and I want to learn Java and C#, but I'm confused which one to choose. C# seems they have to rely a lot on architecture patterns. Yeah, I mean, C# does have a very big community of people who practice like, clean architecture or domain-driven design. C# is definitely filled with a lot of enterprisey folks who kind of bring a lot of that enterprisey architecture down into the content that they make around C#. But you don't have to build C# apps that way, right? You can build a C# app that looks, or at least a C# server, like a web server. You can build a C# web server that looks a hell of a lot like a Hano server nowadays with the way minimal APIs work in .NET. So it's kind of just really up to you, like what style and flavor and thing do you want to do in C#. So you can kind of bring your own style, so to speak, if you want to. I don't know anything about Java, so I can't really advise you there. I've had people in chat say Java's great, and it's awesome. I've had people say it's not great, right? That's just kind of how there's always both sides of the opinion or both sides of the argument when it comes to any technology. I think if you choose C Sharp, the best place to start might be with doing the C Sharp foundational certification on Free Code Camp, right? That will get you familiar with like the basic syntax and language. And then there's a guy on YouTube named Tim Corey that has some good like free tutorial courses that might be interesting to you for you to go through. There's also another guy named Nick Chopsis. He doesn't really have many like end-to-end tutorials like Tim Corey has, but he does have a lot of helpful videos that cover different topics in .NET. And then if you're interested in spending money on like education about C Sharp, I would point you to Dom Train, which is Nick Chopsis's I don't know if I'm saying his name right, so I apologize if I'm saying his name wrong. Um, but he has a company called Dom Train, which I think has some of the highest quality like C Sharp courses that are available right now. But they do cost money. It is a subscription service. Not rusting today. Yep, no rusting today, Ryan. We're going back to this. We're going back to sweet .NET land. Bob, I was a little worried my last job was going to force me to use Cursor over NeoVim. Well, I think that's actually like a real thing people are dealing with, right? The people are being forced to use Cursor or forced to use Claude Code, right? Which would really suck. Yeah, that would suck. But I mean, a job's a job, right? We got to get paid, so we do what we do what we must. Well, that's the saying that I've been repeating a lot. The strong do what they will, the weak suffer what they must. And in terms of economics, I'm I'm one of the weak, you know. So I just do whatever the employer says, so I can get my paycheck and put gas in my car, pay my rent, get my groceries. Bob, can you force C Sharp into functional programming? You can do some functional stuff with C Sharp, but I think hardcore functional folks would say no, you can't. But there is a lot of things they've added in recent years to try to help facilitate kind of a functional approach. Um, the one that everyone is still waiting on is the discriminated union, which I think we were supposed to get it in 14, but I think it's going to ship in 15 now. See if I can find it. Let's see. C Sharp discriminated union. Is this the one? No. Yeah, it looks like 15 is when it's supposed to come. It was originally slated for 14, and then it fell out of 14. But there's a GitHub issue that's tracking the progress. And let me see if I can find it. But this is, I think, the one piece of functional programming that everyone complains that you can't really represent very well in C Sharp. Let's see, discriminated union GitHub issue. Yeah. Yeah. I think this is the parent issue that everything links to. You should probably subscribe to this. Yeah, we should get it eventually. But yeah, I think classically people would be like, no, you can't do real functional programming in C Sharp. But I think you can sort of do some of that paradigm in C Sharp, in my opinion. Have you built a TypeScript web services before? So the only TypeScript backends that I built have been in Express or Hano. And those were fun to build. Hano was particularly fun to work with. I think today, if you're starting brand new, I don't know why you would use Express anymore because of all the async await incompatibility. Like they've tried to do things to make it better to work with or easier to work with async await when you use Express, but it's still kind of ugly. And Hano just works out of the box, so I don't know why you wouldn't just use Hano. I like using Claude Code, but if I was forced to and didn't want to, I'd use it to rename files and call it a day. Yeah, boss. Yeah, for sure I'm using Claude Code every day. just you just have an instance of it running that just constantly renames files. Just stuck in a loop. So you saw a Reddit post, employee got fired for not using cursor. That's rough, dude. Yeah, unfortunately, if you're an employee, you got to kind of do what they say. I would never argue against that. Ryan, Java is a nightmare. Lisp supremacy. All hail Lisp. All bow to the great power of Lisp. But you think C# is still better? I do, yeah, I do. I honestly like C#'s the development experience in C# better. I do. Um, but I think I've said this before, but like if I if I could only work with one language again, I would just work with TypeScript, right? But if given the choice, then typically I'll reach for C# on the back end, right? But if you made me, if you're like, hey man, you got to pick one language, right? You can't be polyglot. We're not going to allow you to build a polyglot solution. Then I would probably pick TypeScript. I used Hano for a recent spot. It was very nice. Yeah, it is super nice. It's super nice. It's all built around web standards. They have all these like great helper utility methods for doing like basic things. They support returning JSX from endpoints, which is really cool, right? You can just author your things in JSX and then call the endpoint and it sends HTML back up to the browser. It's very, very cool. They've done some very, very cool things. That's the one thing I wish .NET would support. I wish .NET would support some JSX like thing, right? They have stuff that sort of gets there, but it's not quite there because you can't write Razor syntax in a CS file. Like with TypeScript, you can go from TS to TSX and you can write JSX right directly in the file, right? But C# doesn't really have that same equivalent thing, so that would be pretty cool to get in C# land. What was the other thing I was going to add? I was going to add awesome assertions, and then I need to add the testing package. I think it's .NET add. I think it's something like Microsoft. It's like ASP.NET test. Let's see, test web application. Yeah, where is this held at? This guy. This is the package. That guy. Okay. So we've got awesome assertions. We've got the web application factory. We've got XUnit. I think that's good enough to get started. Now let's go ahead and create our web API. So we'll say .NET new web API. Put that in the source. We'll say physical os.api like that. The following package reference items cannot define a value for version. Projects using central package management must define a version value. Oh. So we don't need this. Let's say we don't We need everything else. We need to change the launch settings, so we use HTTPS first. So we don't need these comments. We don't need this guy. We don't need any of this. We don't need the weather forecast. Map open API, that's fine. And then we have to go in here. We don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need that. We don't need that. We do need this. Put this over in packages. This will be package version. And then this will be package reference, but without the version. And then we'll say .NET SLN add source, call it physical OS. Then we'll say .NET add, and we'll say tests. And tests need a reference to the project that it needs to test, like this. And now let's try to build the solution. All right, looks like we have a bunch of happy campers. That's good. I didn't screw anything up yet. All right, now we need to decide what's the first thing we're going to work on. So part of me thinks the first thing we should work on is just identity, right? Like, we should be able to sign in, sign out, do the forgot password stuff. There's also part of me, though, that thinks maybe we should work on the plaid side of it first. Let's see, we also need to add log out. And I'm going to use for auth, I'm going to use JWT with refresh tokens for the auth. Two. We prefer var everywhere. Okay. This is an app I am building to help me manage my personal finances. Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't need to be more complex than that for now. We have our license. I think that's it. Yeah, so we just need to kind of dive into doing some stuff now. We actually have to do something now. We can't just keep setting up a project endlessly. Love the unexpected Serbian every time. Good morning, crew. Let's see. If I were to build a web server myself, Rust. If I were to be a tech lead of a team doing it, Go. As much as I love Rust, the learning curve is still probably too high. What you think? I think that's a really valid take. I think it's interesting to make a decision. I think it's interesting to think about making decisions about technologies based on the capabilities of the folks that you want to get to work on that thing. Like, I never thought about that. Like, if you had to manage a team of 10 folks, right? What's probably the easiest tech stack you can pick where you feel confident you can help all 10 people build and develop and be productive? Not only that, but like replace people, like onboard new people, right? What's the tech stack that is the easiest to staff and train? It's an interesting way to think about it. I think that's a big reason why the MERN stack became so popular, right? I think the MERN stack was like, well, we just need one language, and we can find lots of people who know JavaScript, right? Super friendly. But yeah, very valid take.
Did we just become best friends?
I am Justo Dev. I kind of read that as I am just a dev. Thank you for the follow, man. It's super nice of you. Bob Knoll app done. You built an app while I was sitting here? Oh, you mean yeah. I just set the app up. It's fine. We're good. Ryan, you should look up how to build a horse with programming by Toggle Goon Squad. How to build a horse with programming. Excuse me. How to build a horse with programming. You built a horse. It's ugly as hell, has lots of dangling parts, but it gets the job done. Oh, that's C++. Okay, Java. You really want to build a horse, but first you need to build a horse factory. So if anybody was watching the stream today, like that's probably how it feels watching me set up a .NET project. Let's see, JavaScript. Your horse arrived in different packages. You built the horse, but the backbone came out angular, so the horse is paralyzed. That's hilarious. Let's see. You had a fast, beautiful horse, but you have no idea where it is. That's pretty good. This one, Ryan, speaks to me. Because every time you've mentioned learning Lisp, I've complained about the parentheses. Cobalt, you built the horse. It can only be tamed. Or so you built the horse in 1962. It can only be tamed by the original creator. For all other purposes, it's a dragon. This is good, man. Who does this? This is really good. C#. The horse works best when dressed in a camel costume. When you try to use it as anything else than a camel, it gets a bit fussy. Assembly. The horse turns out a little basic. Oh, it's pixel art. But boy, can it run. Valid. PHP. You built a Trojan. You built a Trojan horse. It releases hundreds of tiny horses to punish you every day forever. I feel like this one, the bottom one, I feel like that could actually you could actually turn that into JavaScript. Like this seems accurate in both cases. I'm gonna have to save that. That's fucking funny. This just came out too, huh? Oh, I guess last updated. God, that's funny, dude. Good recommendation, Ryan. W, Ryan. Let's see, if you care about the environment, don't use TypeScript on the server. Nah, fuck the environment. Let's abuse the shit out of the infra. Deep engine nerd. I started building a database in C. Wow, that sounds hard. That sounds really, really hard. I'm over here trying to figure out how to implement basic auth, and you're just gonna build a database. All right, so I'm gonna do the first thing I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna do the login. Let's see, login test. Excuse me. All right. Oh, this should also we should namespace this stuff. We should do integration, and then let's move this to there. And then let's do let's see, login when user submits incorrect username and password should return 401 with problem details. What's this complaining about? Remove the underscores. Oh, this is something I have to turn off every time. Let's see. This is editor config. And then we'll do CS. And we'll do, it's like .NET. What is it? It's .NET. .NET Analyzer. There we go. This. Set that to none. Set this to CA1707. And that should turn that off. Remove yeah. Now let's just restart LSP. Restart OmniSharp. Give it a second. What's the C# about? Camel case? What do you mean? The databases are kind of simple when you dig into it. Oh yes, I think that's what the joke was. The C# comic book joke. Yeah, I think it had to do with camel case. Databases are kind of simple when you dig into it, but then you realize they're eternal projects if someone actually uses them. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be responsible for building a database or maintaining a database, but if that lights somebody else up, or if you're just doing it for educational purposes, if you just want to learn how a database, I guess, is built. Ilmanian 144p for me, that's good, isn't it? I'm guessing that was sarcasm. I hope it's not 144p because of something I'm doing. All right. now what we need to do is we need to set up our web server. So let's, or our test server. So we need to do infrastructure. Let's just do infra. And then let's name this what do I want to call this? I guess test. I never know what to name this. Web app, test API, API under test. I'm just gonna do test API. Or yeah, that's fine. This is going to be physical OS dot API dot test dot infra. This is an internal. No, it needs to be public. This is a public class. Test API, which inherits from web application factory. Because an application's API isn't typically referenced from outside the assembly, types can be made internal. I don't know if that's true, though, here. I don't know if I can make it internal. I think that might cause issues down the line. Okay, and then we should be able to do something like high class fixture. Yeah, that's what I thought. This needs to be public. Inconsistency. I think I fixed it. Steve's Streambot. Oh, whoops. I forgot to update the doing part. Sorry. That's old. Let's see. I am building a personal finance app to help me replace my current tool to replace the current tool I use called YNAB. There you go. Now what bro doing should work. Let me test it real quick. Sorry about that. Yeah, there we go. Good morning, Stefan. Finance app. Now we're talking. Yeah, this will be fun, I think. I think this will be a fun project. Deep engine nerd. I'll also be able to turn it into a server that accepts queries via socket and GUI using SDL, I guess. Oh, very cool. Yeah, sounds like a very ambitious project. Sounds like a A lot of fun. Ilmani, and just my internet being shit. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry your internet's not helping. Stefan, I'll be on Twitch actually. Hello, Stefan. Nice horizontal stream. Oh, thanks, dude. Thanks for hanging out. It's been a minute since I've seen you. Hope you're doing well. Hope life's treating you okay. Ryan, speaking of camel case, the Lisp community generally accepts kebab case as the standard for multi-word variables, but I only use camel case in everything I write. Yeah, I don't. Kebab case seems like a crimes against humanity type situation. Like, who uses kebab case for variables? I feel like the only valid options are camel case or snake case. Anything other than that seems like you're just trying to be difficult. I just have a lot of stuff going on. Hope y'all are doing good as well. Oh, no worries at all, man. Yeah, live your life. You know, I just hadn't seen you in a bit, so but good. I'm glad it's all going well. It's good to see you. Good to have you here. Let's see, CA 1515. What's the best way to handle this? Because I like the warning, but I need to be able to. Excuse me. Oh, that's cool. You can set it, you can determine it based on certain output kinds. See, Windows applications, dynamically linked library, console app. Huh, that's kind of cool. But I think what I'll do is I'll just disable it for test code. I'll just do one of these for test code. We'll tell it we know best. Don't listen to the analyzer. LSP restart, OmniSharp. Stefan, you should change this Twitch stream title. Oh crap, yeah, you're right. I forgot. I forgot to do that. Thank you, Stefan, for calling that out, man. Appreciate you. You're looking out for me, man. Appreciate. I'm still trying to figure out this whole streamer thing. I've only been doing it for like a year almost, and I still can't figure out how to keep up with it all. There we go. It's done. I appreciate that, man. It's very kind of you. Super, super kind of you. Kinder than I deserve, probably, if I'm being honest. All right, and then we should be able to do var client equals test API dot create client, and then let's just do var res equals client dot say post async, and we'll say the login will live here. And let's say the request should look like this, just a new anonymous object. And we'll say it should have a username key, and it should have a password key. That's my super secret password. Don't try to hack me, okay? All right? Be cool. Be cool, guys. Don't run off and try to start brute forcing all my accounts. A necessary assignment. Calls to methods should accept. Oh, yep. Test context. Or sorry, yeah. Test context dot current dot cancellation token. And then let's say this should res dot status code should be HTTP status code dot not forbidden, unauthorized. Yeah, unauthorized. I do not want to use a discard. So that's another thing I want to disable. I don't know why this is a analyze. They really need to turn this analyzer off. Nobody uses a discard character. So go here. Let's do analyzer settings. That. This. And what was it? I think it was IDE 0058. I think was that what that warning was. Yeah. So let's do LSP restart. Sharp. Never talk yourself down, Steven. Hey man, I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Okay, I think this is gonna fail. This should fail. Let's see. Found 404. Yep, that's what I would expect because we don't have a route registered for that. We need to get rid of all this console output though. So let's go to our test API. And I think we do protected override configure. I can never remember which one I'm supposed to use. Configure web host or configure host. Let's see. This is only called for applications using Microsoft.extensions iHost Builder. Let's see. We'll use Web Application Factory create server. Applications based on iWebHost Builder will use Web Application create server. Okay, I think I'm using iHost Builder, but let me see. This says Web Application Builder. I'm not sure which of those methods I'm supposed to override. Configure web host. Is that what I want? Okay, configure web host. I think this is in using Microsoft.extensions.logging. I just found out that kebab case is also known as Lisp case. I promise I'm not a psychopath like the other Lisp programmers. Okay, I believe you. I believe you. Deepengineer.net, I guess. Which language is using? C Sharp. Yeah, what Bob said. Fact Flickr 02. I'm using C Sharp. Please don't judge me too harshly. The internet is not kind to us C Sharp users. Okay, cool. So now what we can do is we can actually implement this. Actually, you know what? The first test we should have implemented probably should have been like a validation step, right? So let's actually back this up. So let's say when user submits without username, it should return 400 with problems details. So let's say you just give me an empty request without username or password. We're starting from the ground up, man. This should be bad request. Okay. So now let's go over here and let's implement a route for this. So let's do app.map post. This is a login endpoint. This is going to accept a request of a particular type. So let's call record login request is going to be equal to what do we want this to be equal to? Username, password. So we'll say, give me a handler and all it does is it just says return results.ok. And this is going to print from body login request. Why is this complaining? Cannot implicitly convert from ASP.NET Core iResult to systemthreading.task. An explicit conversion exists. Are you missing a cast? Why is this trying to return a task? This should just be an iResult. Oh, that's why. because I can't ever remember how to write C# code. Okay, and then what I want to do here is let's just, for now, let's just say console.writeLine login request dot username dot password. I gotta go get more coffee. This is going to want me to apply an accessibility modifier like this. All right, so now if we rerun our test, we should get, it should still fail, but hopefully it'll fail with the 200 status code instead of 400. Yeah. So it was returning a 404, now we're getting a 200. And now we just need to actually do stuff with all this. My C++ code runs slower than my Python code, which is definitely strange. Yeah, I'm not sure. Does it a lot of Python code call like C bindings or C++ bindings under the hood? So maybe actually in this case your Python code should be running faster, right? It's C hashtag for the woke. Stop calling it C#, okay? It's C# hashtag. It's C hashtag. NumPy does. Yeah, I think a lot of those libraries that do like TensorFlow, like a lot of the machine learning stuff and super complex math, I think all calls into, I can't remember if it's C++ or C. So maybe Almani, and that's why the performance of your Python code's faster, is because the Python code is actually calling super uber optimized C or C++ code. All right, I'm taking a quick break. I'm going to go get some coffee. Coffee. That's right. Shout out coffee time. I'll just be right back. Uh-oh. It's gone crazy. BRB. I'm back. What'd I miss? I'm making my own AI from scratch in Python with no PyTorch, NumPy, or other things. Wow, dude, you bit off of quite a project there. I'm connected with you on LinkedIn. Thanks for accepting my invitation. Of course, yeah, I'm happy to connect with anybody. Just exclamation point LinkedIn or go to linkedin.stephenfreeborn.com and happy to make new connections over there. LinkedIn's kind of a weird place right now. It's like basically filled with nothing but AI content. It's a bunch of people posting things that they wrote with AI. And some of a lot of the posts are kind of cringe, but at the same time, like, the world has just kind of decided that, like, that's the platform we're going to use for professional things. So it's like, what do you do? You know what I mean? Like, you're just hurting yourself if you're not there. Because I think that's where a lot of recruiters are. I think a lot of people use LinkedIn as like a quick way to look you up and, do a cursory glance at what you're about. So you kind of have to be there, but it is definitely a cringy place to be. All right. So what we want to happen is if somebody hits this endpoint and they don't provide us a username or a password, they should be in trouble, right? Not in trouble, but they should get a 400. So I want to add a required attribute. I think this works now in .NET 10. I think if you annotate these things, you have to say property, and I think you have to say property here. But I think now, this used to not work, but now I think it does. But I could be wrong too. Gunheis, is that what I think it is? What do you mean? Do you think it's C#? It is C#, man. Let's see, I think I actually have to add it to the services too. I think I have to do builder.services.add validation. Like that. And do I have to call something down here? Do I have to like add.use validation? No? Okay. Huh. Still didn't trigger. Maybe did I dream this up? I could have sworn .NET 10 introduced, let's see, .NET 10 minimal API, yeah, validation. I could have sworn they introduced changes. Add validation. So does it have to be a class, maybe? Maybe that's why. Does this need to be a class? Which is kind of silly, but maybe that's the thing. So let's do public string username has a getter and a knitter. Should run. So what are you toasting today? Hell yeah, it's C#. Fuck yeah, finally. We're trying to build a like a personal finance app. It's not triggering. Is it because of the from body annotation? Oh, hold on. Before I do that, we got to apply the attributes. Required and required. And let's mark them nullable, because maybe required doesn't treat empty the same way. Let's just see if this works. Steven, I always wonder how you learn to use Vim. I'm thinking to do it. Any tips? It really wasn't. I'm a VS Code guy, by the way. Yeah, it really wasn't anything super sophisticated. I just decided that I wanted to. I just decided that I wanted to use NeoVim, and so I sat down one day, installed NeoVim, went through the process of getting it configured, and just kept working with it. And so it was probably a couple weeks of like tripping over my fingers before I really felt like I had a handle on it, right? So I just kind of struggled through that uncomfortable first month, couple weeks, and then over time it just became more and more natural. You don't necessarily have to use NeoVim though. VS Code has a Vim Motions or a Vim emulator extension that I use in Visual Studio Code myself that you could probably start with. The thing you have to get comfortable with those, like, you are going to take a hit in your productivity for a little bit. Like, that's just the nature of the beast. So you aren't going to be as productive. And if you can accept that and deal with that, then you just stick with it. And over time, it eventually becomes second nature. And then you'll find yourself, you'll be like in Microsoft Word or Google Docs, and you'll be trying to use the motions to navigate your text. And of course it won't work, but it'll all of a sudden flip where that's the default way that you navigate text, and you miss it when you don't have it. So that's my advice. It's not very good advice. Like, there's nothing special about it, but it literally was just, I made a decision to do it and then stuck with it. What's up, Rockin' Brain? Sorry I missed your message. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Ryan, McLaren's F1 team just found one of the most over-engineered rules circumnavigation ever. They designed a sheet of carbon fiber to allow for the rear wing to flex in airflow, but not underweight. Interesting. I don't think I know enough about F1 or racing to really know the impact of that, but engineers will engineer, won't they? They will indeed. Gun has a personal finance app. Very nice. I did it once 10 years ago when client wanted to migrate from Excel and VBA. It's kind of a project. Yeah, it's definitely an involved project. The biggest thing I want this app to do is I want it to be able to aggregate the actual data from my financial institutions into my app, right? So I want to be able to see my account balances. I want to be able to get my transaction data. Because if the app didn't do that, then I would just use a spreadsheet, right? But I don't want to go to all these different places where I have accounts and export CSVs and then recombine them, and then, you know what I mean? I don't want to mess with all that. I just want something that pulls the data automatically. And that's largely what I'm using YNAB for. I mean, that's largely what the YNAB is serving as. YNAB is just a way for me to get the data into a place where I can then categorize it. So I don't feel like I need to spend $15 a month to do that when I know how to write code, and I should be able to figure out how to do that myself to some extent. Maybe not a production level extent, but it should be good enough for my own personal use. Ilmani, and what got me to coding is the spinning ASCII donut that I saw in my recommendation like 4 months ago. Huh. Very cool. I guess I haven't seen the spinning ASCII donut, but that's cool. Yeah, we all have the thing that kicks off the journey, so I'm glad you found yours. I'll check out VS Code Vim mode. Yeah, this is here, I can show you the extension I use. Let's see. This is the extension I use. Vim. Yeah, this one right here. VS Code Vim. I don't know if it's the best. I don't even know if it's the only, but this is the one I use to, and I basically just configure it so that the key bindings over here in VS Code line up with the key bindings that I use in NeoVim. So that way, whenever I'm working in either tool, I'm basically can rely on the same muscle memory. And I should say I'm by far not like a Vim. Like if we're talking about this in terms of like Vim Foo, if I had to give myself a belt ranking, I'd still be like a white belt, right? So I've got a long way to go before I probably can claim to be halfway decent at it. Right, so let's say as a programmer, you have to make a widget that improves app stability, but you're required to make it in a very specific way due to a micromanaging boss who will fine you money if you don't do what he says. McLaren was able to follow that micromanaging boss's guidelines while making the widget 80% more effective. Holy sheesh. That's incredible. Yeah, man, engineers are a different breed, aren't they? Or I guess engineers are just they're the ultimate form of problem solvers, right? People who can just give me your constraints and I'm going to go off in a room and I'm going to figure out how to maximize, right, what I can do with those constraints. It's amazing. Artwork Studios. Hello. I don't know what those first few characters mean, Artwork Studios, but good to see you. Glad you're here. Duckboy, I'm going to force myself to learn Vim by installing Linux with no desktop environments whatsoever. Nice. I like that. Going to be a miserable experience. I mean, that's what they say, you know, necessity is kind of sometimes the best driver, right? Like if the only option you have is to get around with that. Like I know some people like will take their mouse and like put it in another room. Like that might be another good way to kind of drive yourself to develop better keyboard habits. If you take away the ability to navigate but the thing you realize whenever you do that is if you try not to use a mouse, you very quickly realize how many things are not very navigatable by keyboard, right? Like how many websites don't think about keyboard users, applications that don't think about keyboard users. You very quickly realize that a lot of people don't give much thought to accessibility when they're building stuff. It's Chinese for good morning. Nice. Okay. Well, I guess I know what good morning looks like in Chinese now. Will I remember that in the future? Probably not. But good morning to you too. I don't even think I can read that. I'm not even going to try to read that. Okay, that still didn't work. So why isn't it being triggered? Okay, let's try to actually run the app and see if the validation gets triggered. Maybe it's something to do with the tests. Let's see, .NET run -- project source. According to documentation, this should work now. I'm not sure why it's not working. So let's go to, I guess Postman. That's where we'll do this. Lurk away, Omanian. Lurk away. Let's see, new. collection. And then let's do add a request. Log in. This will be a post. Whoops. Nope, not that. Okay, so that worked. So why doesn't that get triggered when testing? Huh. Oh, hold on. Maybe try that. Okay. So why isn't validation getting triggered? So if there's an empty body, this should be triggering validation because we have required attributes on here. So let's see. New minimal API validation not working. Okay. There's a bunch of people that have written about it. Let's see. Using add validation causes non-validated endpoints can continue after parsing it. I wonder if I have to call something on the endpoint itself, like something like .use.validate. No, that's disabling validation. That's very weird. It should just work. According to the internet, add validation. Come on, there's got to be a reason why this isn't working. Can my internet just be good for once? I don't know. Maybe it's time to look at a new internet provider. You know? This makes no sense. There's add validation right here. Let's see. Let's watch Tim Corey's video on it. See what he does. He's got a minimal API. Yeah. He's got some person models. He's got a login record. He's basically doing the same thing I'm trying to do. And then he goes up there, he adds builder.services.add validation. Then he added the required attribute. That's literally all he did. I don't understand. Oh, is it because it's internal? Oh, hold on. I think he just touched on it right here.
And this will work for sending in data. In fact, let's run this, and we can see that it will in fact send in data. So if I were to come over here, I hit test, I already have the password on the clipboard, and I can say test at test. I already have test validation. Yes, that's correct. In order to run the validation, you have to make sure that your classes or records are marked as public, even though if you...
I didn't know that. Okay, so I just need to make this public. You gotta be kidding me. That's all I had to do? Declare types in namespace. I really don't want to turn this rule off because I kind of like that analyzer, but if that's what it takes to get this working, that's what we'll do. What was the error? CA 1515. CA 1515. Oh, that's the right. I'm an idiot. That's the right one. Which means then we can remove it from here. And then we'll need to restart our... we can also put this in the namespace. That's fine. Let's see, physical. Oh, we can't put namespaces in top level statements. So I guess we have to just pull this into a separate file for a second. I love enabling all these analyzers for my project, but then it's kind of a pain in the ass because then you have to selectively disable them. You know, so it's like it's kind of the claw. It cuts both ways. LSP restart OmniSharp. Open code CLI and Fluent validation will help you. I'm not interested in using agentic tools to code Thean, so I'm good, man. I like Fluent validation though. Yeah, Fluent validation's a nice NuGet package. Humps, you can ignore the rule for that, like with Pragma. Yeah, but I hate having Pragma comments in my code base. Honestly, I fucking hate them. They look ugly. They make your code harder to read. So I either just enable them globally or disable them globally, which is, I know, limiting, but I just don't like the aesthetics of the Pragma comments. All right, now my test Hopefully it should pass. 30 minutes later, and we have a passing test. Huzzah! All right, which means let's do a little bit of refactoring here. So let's do using .cs. Let's bring that in here. Delete that. Put that there. Global using. Select that. Sort them. Login request. Let's delete that. Put that over here. I abuse the shit out of this global using thing. Let's see, we need to add a namespace here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is let's go ahead and just add a, I guess we'll just start with a login directory, and let's put an endpoint class here. Let's put a response class. We don't need a response class quite yet. Let's put a...
Did we just become best friends?
The Amfam, thank you, Fallen. Appreciate that. Tanthium, have you tried Tmux? I'm on a Windows machine, so I've not used Tmux. I don't develop on a Linux box. I just use Windows Terminal, and Windows Terminal has support for multiple tabs. You can also split the panes if you'd like to split your panes up, but yeah, no Tmux users over here on Windows 11. Nah, Saz? What are you saying, Blackfire? Let's do login. That. Let's do physical.login. You could actually put this all in one file, probably. And then we'll do a namespace is going to be physicalOS.api.login. We have an internal static class called endpoint. Oblivion. I love those matching events that happen once in a while. Okay, hold on. Okay, this is a freaky coincidence. The second you said you're going to make the login endpoint, I navigated to the login of a web UI I forked. That's oftentimes that's when I tell my wife. I always tell her, like, that's when it feels like there was a glitch in the matrix, right? Oh, if you have a... Okay, sorry. I wasn't following the conversation thread, Blackfire. That's my bad. All right, so then we'll have a public static async task, and we'll just say handle async like this, and we'll basically try to just move our handler. Actually, hold on. This actually can be private even. This can be private actually. And then this can also be private. Const string. What do we want to call this? Route maybe? Let's log in. And then this will be, we'll just have a public method. Public static that returns a, what do the routes return in minimal API? These return map post returns a route handler builder. route handler builder. That. And then we'll just say map login endpoint like this. And we'll say I can never remember this syntax. It's this I host or maybe what web application? See, I endpoint route builder. I think I just want web app. I think I just want web application. So do web application like that. Unused parameter, not all code. Oh yeah. So then we'll just move this logic into here like so. This will be route. Then we'll return there. And then here we're gonna just basically take all of this lambda and we're gonna say from body login request like this. Take that, put it here. This is gonna be task I results. And then here we can do, or what I hope we can do is we can come in here and say, now all we do is we just say, okay, you're gonna map the route to the handle async. Like this. And then we can come back to program, CS, and instead of that call, we just keep it a little cleaner. We can say map login endpoint like this. And now we've got a little bit of a vertical slice architecture going on, a little bit, and kind of that, we've also got a little bit of that Reaper pattern going on, which Reaper is just a way to organize things without necessarily having like a controller architecture, you know, your classic MVC architecture. So now we have, and Reaper stands for, what is it? It stands for request, endpoint, response, I think is what Reaper stands for. So we just kind of model everything, basically almost like modeling endpoints like functions, right? Take something in, return something out. Get rid of that one. And now everything should still work the way it was, hopefully. Cool. All right, so let's go back to our tests here. So the first one's passing. Let's inline this actually. Like that. Now I will say the thing that we haven't done is we should assert on what the body should look like because we want our API to have consistent air shapes. And I think right now the body doesn't look like a problems detail. And it really should. So I think if we send this, oh no, I guess it is a problems detail. Title, one or more validation errors occurred. Username, password. So I'd like these to be I would like these to be camel cased. Is what I would like here. So we need to figure out how to do that. So what would a test look like for this? So I guess a test would look like for this would be var content equals res dot content dot read. We could actually read from JSON, couldn't we? Yeah, so let's say read from JSON async, and this should be var problem, and this should be a validation problem details, or we should be able to deserialize the response to that. Then we have to pass in the test context dot current dot cancellation. Now, obviously, this could be null, right? But I think we should be able to say problem dot oops, we have to wait. Now we should be able to say problem dot the AI fam. Hey, .NET devs. Last release of C# I remember was the 7 or 8. What did I miss in the last 5 years? I think it is now a C# 11, right? Went wild on other topics and languages, but I miss C# a lot. Last project I did was with hexagonal architecture and reflection-based CQRS, no third packages. Very cool. Sounds like a very cool project. See, we're on C# 14, and we are on .NET 10 currently. So yeah, you're a couple releases behind. Not far behind though. As far as like what did you miss? They added a bunch of features in C#. They added a bunch of stuff to the runtime, a bunch of the stuff to the SDK, bunch of performance improvements, more than I could recall off the top of my head. But yeah, it's a really good language. I really enjoy working with it. Good morning, Kelsey. Good to see you. You didn't announce yourself this morning. Gun Heist, nice progress, bro. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Tontai, Claude Code. No, I'm not a big agentic developer type person. I just like to write my code like a caveman and enjoy my time at the desk drinking coffee and typing characters into a file. You know, I have no need to go vroom vroom. You know, I also kind of have a sneaky suspicion that LLMs make you a worse engineer. I think LLMs make you a more productive engineer, but I have a sneaky suspicion.
Kelsey says the wife is here.
Hello, honey. Good to see you. But I have a sneaky suspicion that while LLMs boost your productivity, I think they probably kneecap you in terms of your ability to develop. The AI fame, LLMs make you lazy as fuck. Yeah. So that's my suspicion, and because in my personal time, I'm really optimizing for becoming the best I can become. I've just decided to only use AI in very intentional ways and not use it to author code. And I know somebody is going to always say, like, well, Steven, software engineering has changed. LLMs have made it different. Those skills aren't valuable or important. And maybe that will be the case, but I don't think we'll know that for another 10 or 20 years. So I'm not gonna roll the dice on it myself. They do make you lazy. I'm still torn on whether it makes you more effective or not. Yeah, and we'll only know in time, right? Like, all I know is I look at all the engineers that I look up to and aspire to be like, And I think, yeah, I don't think those guys got where they got by using LLMs. I know they're using LLMs. Like, I know they're very excited about them and they're using them, but they've been doing this for 20 or 30 years. They've kind of achieved a level of mastery that I haven't yet. So maybe it makes sense for them to leverage these tools. But I'm still on my way, and I'm unsure if I can get to where they are using large language models, because that's not how they got there. So that's my that's my current thinking at the moment. It's not a reflection on anybody else's decisions, though. It's your life. You got to do what you want to do. LLMs help with some stuff, saving you time, I think. Oh, for sure they help you save time. They for sure help you save time. I will never argue. LLMs are very capable. They get better and better at authoring code all the time, right? Every model gets better and more capable, it seems like. They save you a crap ton of time. They can generate code far faster than any human being can. But I'm not optimizing for that, right? Like, it's just like, I'm not, until my boss comes down to me and says, you need to triple or double or 10x your output. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna optimize for trying to be uber productive. I'm trying to optimize for being really good and really competent and very confident in my skills. The AI fam, LLM as a tool, not as a brain replacement. It's a good adage. It's a good adage. I like the idea behind it. I just kind of agree with what the Primogen says, which is like, giving someone an LLM and then being like, but don't let it replace your thinking abilities, is kind of like somebody showing up at the gym and handing them an ice cream cone and being like, don't eat it. Don't eat it. You got to work out. You got to get in shape. Hold on to the ice cream cone just as a motivation, or maybe a helpful reminder, right? It's too hard. It's just too hard. It's too easy to just turn to the LLM and say, what do you think? What would you do in this case? Right? Which is a valid thing to say sometimes, but I think it becomes an easy button where every time you have to do any kind of difficult thinking, you choose the path that's the least uncomfortable, right? It's like, oh, I'll just ask Gemini. Gemini, what do you think? Right? Like, I think it becomes an easy button. And sometimes you need the easy button, right? It's just very tempting all the time. See, I use LLM as alternative to Google
Kelsey
for
says
search.
I can work out and eat ice cream.
Yeah. You're right. You're right, Kelsey. You can do that. This is something we can do. It's just, is it the most optimal way to get where you're going? I guess it depends on where you're trying to get to. Where are you trying to go? I think if you're just trying to ship code, you should, if you're just trying to produce software and ship code, maybe then LLMs are the way forward. But that's not I don't think I'm optimizing for that, right? So if you come to this channel, you're probably going to see a lot of caveman coding. Or as now, apparently, as the kids are referring to it now, trad coder. I'm a trad coder. I'm not a vibe coder. I'm a trad coder. Let's see. We should have errors should contain those things. So errors, which is a dictionary, I believe. Yeah. That should be equivalent to.
Kelsey says gross.
Yeah. I never heard that term. Yeah, I didn't hear about it until I watched the Primogen stream the other day. Apparently, he's making merch that has that on, making some sweatshirts or some t-shirts or something, which I think is pretty funny. Let's see, this should be. This should be new dictionary. And it should be of type what? String and string array. Yeah, string and string array. Oh, I'm going to say it's not null. If it's null, then this should fail. And then we should have a key in here that says username equals that. And this should say password equals this. And then this should say username is required. Oh, here's more AI. We can build faster with agent mode. Use agent mode to transform the way you work with APIs. Wonderful. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. You will not get away from it. What is the error message? The username field is required. But what I'd really like to have happen here is I'd actually like this to be lowercase, I think. But I don't think that matters all that much. Astral, what's up, Astral? Good to see you. Bro, why would you use a backend for the web when you can have an extremely fast, easy to integrate serverless database like Firebase? I don't know. I guess I kind of like the idea of implementing my own backend. I think it's fun. It's good practice, helps me sharpen my skills. I also like the ability to self-host it. I'm not sure if Firebase offers self-hosting. I think Supabase does. But yeah, I just kind of like the enjoyment of having a backend and coding it up and thinking through all the different problems. Yeah, it's fun. But totally valid point, Abdul. You can totally move faster and get to where you're going much quicker just using something like Firebase. You can totally do that, and that's okay. Both are okay. Bob Noel, I'm an AMBA coder then. All of December was trad coding. The past week has been exploring the world of pure multi-agent vibe coding again. Nice. Yeah. Do both. Yeah, man. You don't have to pick one side or the other. Should live your life in accordance with how you want to live it, you know? Astral, yo Astral, Pyro Boots. I don't have anything against AI, but I only hate it when they shove it in your face or put it places where it's not needed. Yeah, well, it's everywhere now, my friend. It's everywhere. Oh, I misspelled. I misspelled the error message. It sounds like my family's awake. My son's birthday is today. Huzzah! Okay, well, we got one test implemented for a single endpoint this morning, but we're having fun. We're having a good time. I think I'm gonna go upstairs though and say good morning to my son. Abdul, I don't know, bro. It feels like a crime since it's so easy, right? Like there has to be some drawbacks at least, right? What would be the drawbacks, Abdul? I don't know what the what. You mean building your own backend has drawbacks, or using Firebase has drawbacks? I don't understand. So I guess we have to have this discussion in the context of what I'm doing. I'm building an application that's purely serves a single user, which is me. I'm building the application to provide myself with helpful, usable software. I'm building the software so that I can help practice my coding and programming abilities and get better at an engineer, think through problems, implement solutions, understand all the different APIs that exist in .NET and C Sharp, right? So this is an exercise that's supposed to benefit me as well as provide me with some usable software. So if I pulled down some software if I used Firebase, I would miss out on everything that I was trying to gain from sitting down and working on a side project. I'm not running a business. I'm not trying to optimize for productivity. I'm not trying to optimize for efficiency. I'm trying to optimize for learning, improvement, enjoyment. Like, so I'm not sure what the drawbacks would be in that context. I'm not, again, I acknowledge the fact that like you can get faster and maybe even further by just using something off the shelf. And if I was building this for an employer, if somebody was like, hey, you got 3 weeks to stand something up, yeah, I probably wouldn't implement a backend from scratch. But like that's not the situation here. So I think you're trying to project your context onto me, maybe, or maybe trying to project your end goals onto me, and we're just different. They're different, which means the conclusions we come to are going to be different. And fam, you really want to match exact message? Wouldn't it be better to match its contents like required? No, I'm okay with matching the exact messages for now. Astro, what are you doing there? I'm trying to build a personal finance app. So it'll be an application that uses Plaid to connect to my bank accounts and pull in my balances and my transactions. That'll be the end goal. That's what I'm going to try to do. Ilmanian's still lurking. Nice. Is Abdul Firebase filled? No, I just think maybe he just doesn't see value in hand rolling your own code, which is fine. I mean, you don't have to see value in it anymore, you know? I would 100% use a SQLite database for that. One file to copy, move, backup. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'll do. I'll use a SQLite database. It's just going to be a single user. It's just me. It's just my data. So that's exactly what I'll do. All right, guys. I'm going to head upstairs and say hello to my 8-year-old. I have another 8-year-old now. Birthdays are like exciting for the kids, but they're also exciting for the parents. All right, guys. Let's see. If you're new here and you want to come back and hang out in the future, my stream is usually live every morning from 4:15 to 7 a.m. But my stream for the foreseeable future is just going to be a lot of this. It's going to be a lot of C#, a lot of .NET, a lot of me writing code by hand. There's not going to be any agentic development happening. So if that's the kind of stuff you're looking for, or that's the kind of stuff you're interested in fucking with these days, like, I think that's awesome. That's just not going to be what you see here. That's not what I'm interested in. And pretty much I kind of create content in a very selfish way. I just do the things I want to do and I'm interested in. And sometimes that overlaps with chat, sometimes it doesn't. So I'll be very upfront and transparent there about that. If you want to hang out with me or chat outside of stream, the best place to find us is our Discord. It's discord.stephenfreeborn.com. It's super easy to find us. That's where we hang out when we're not live. And I think that's it. Yeah. See you, Duck Boy. I'm about to be alone installing Fedora. we wish you good luck on your journey, Duck Boy. Good stream. See you tomorrow. See you, Bob. See you, man. Thanks for hanging out. See you, Oblivion. Thanks for being here again. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for spending your morning with me. All right, y'all. Have a good day. I hope you guys have a great, let's see, what is it, Saturday? I hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday. And if it's Sunday for you, have a great rest of your Sunday. And I'll see you tomorrow morning, hopefully. All right. Bye, guys. Bye, Am Fam. Or I guess you're not Am Fam. You're AI Fam. Bye, the AI Fam. Bye, Duck Boy. Bye, Bob. Bye, Oblivion. Bye, Abdul. Bye, Astral. Bye, Elmanian. Who else? Anybody else? The owner of Bread. Sorry, I missed your message, man. See you, the owner of Bread. Have a good day. I think that's it. All right. Bye, guys. Bye, chat. Bye.